Hello. Hey everyone. Yeah, sorry about earlier. Had a had a guest, special guest, unexpected guest show up. So, resuming the live stream now. This is gonna be part two. Um, okay. So as a recap, what did we go through? So we went through the first roughly like 20 slides of human made, and so far, it seems like the company is priced for growth. They have a market cap of, well, it might be a little bit different today actually. Let me look it up at Yahoo Finance, see what it is at today. Oh wow, went up 7% today. A lot of traction, but this is expected from a company that IPOs. So I guess this is, yesterday was 3545. Today's up 7% off of 81, so looking around close to probably um, 86, 87 billion today. Um, the company has generated, in one of their slides, I think, one of the earlier slides, operating income of 3.8 expected for fiscal year 2026. So let's call it 4. So we're looking at around like a 22. I don't know how much cash and debt they have, but let's say market cap is their EV. That's like 22 times operating profit. PE wise, if we want to do NOPAT, let's see, 30% of that, 28. It's around to 3 times. Yeah, this is trading, uh, yeah, quite high, close to like 28 times, 29 times PE. So yeah, it is priced for high growth, but I will say that I don't know if they can actually maintain a 28% operating profit margin, um, because typically for these type of streetwear brands, um, the exclusivity is what makes the sales high, right? And to be fair, this is a pretty niche type of brand, Japanese streetwear. I'm not surprised that they would be doing well in with their current 8 stores in Japan, especially their Tokyo stores, right? Because Nigo is known for bathing ape, and anyone who's into streetwear, who's done research on YouTube or looked at those streetwear influencers, would have paid a trip to Human Made in Tokyo or wherever they're shopping and bought like a piece or two, right? But the thing is, once this product becomes more available in other areas, right? Let's say they have a New York store, right? Then the person that was in New York, when they go to Japan, right? Unless there's a Japan exclusive, um, yeah, the sales will be distributed, right? So I don't expect their current sales trajectory, um, their operating margin to be as high. I don't think that's sustainable. There's a couple points that I mentioned earlier that I felt were kind of just not right. So yeah, this overseas sales, like direct to consumer sales, where they say like, hey, if there's duty-free store sales, that counts as overseas sales because it's a tourist. Well, the thing is, every company, uh, especially if it's a Japan exclusive store like Human Made, because most of their stores are in Japan, right? You wouldn't buy their product unless you actually went to Japan, right? So I would still account tourist sales as, domestic sales. I will not count that as overseas sales, right? But this shows you the potential. Sure, what it indicates is that, hey, there's that 7.2 billion in total overseas sales, and then there's, oh, it does break it down over here a little bit. Remember that. Let me bring it up. It was somewhere here. I think I saw 11%. Let me just search up 11%. Remember one of the numbers? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so 37%. So out of, this is 27, 37. Yeah, so around 60% of this, around like 4 billion. So that tells you potential demand, like there's 4 billion of potential demand outside of Japan, right? But then that is so vague, because that could be Chinese fans of Nigo, it could be Korean fans of Nigo, it could be, US, Canadian fans of Nigo. Really hard to say. So yeah, it's hard to say that. Yeah, I definitely don't think their sales CAGR is going to maintain this high. It's only because they're going from single digit store count, growing entering into double digits. So yeah, I don't think that they're like, it's not a fair comparison because like LVMH, Montclair, fast retailing, Uniqlo, especially Uniqlo, um, these are really established brands with a long track record, right? They definitely have more than you know 11 stores, let's call it. Forgot exactly how many stores they have. They have 8 in Tokyo, and then they have some franchise stores in Hong Kong, South Korea, and China. So yeah. One thing that's positive is that they have a diversified range of customers, men and women, so that's good. Nationality breakdown, so 30% Japanese, 25% South Korean, 17% Taiwan. So it was mentioned that they do e-commerce, and they do ship to South Korea and Taiwan, for example. So that makes sense. Okay, their products are only available through their officially directed e-commerce. Yeah, their partners' location are Hong Kong, South Korea, and China. And they only sell to wholesalers, um, you know, that have like basically the vibe that they want in terms of target customer. Um, they're not gonna sell to some cheaper store. I think their price are more on the high end currently. So I think that they want to be in places like Holt Renfrew, for example, in Vancouver, and then this Dover Street Market, so probably more exclusive. Oh yeah, I think I ended off earlier by saying around the line, along the lines of sales per store has grown significantly. This is actually a really positive indicator. It means that the demand is actually outpacing the supply and the number of stores they have, which is why sales per store size per meter squared has gone up a lot. So this is actually really positive, and it could also point towards a good like a good use of their e-commerce presence. So that's pretty good. A leading global yoga brand. This has to be Lululemon. This is very likely Lululemon. Yeah. So currently, so it makes sense. Okay, this actually makes sense by the IPO then, because now it's saying like, hey, we have more demand than we can kind of meet right now, and we want to de-risk a little by funding this with some equity, right? Which makes sense. Um, Sales per employee. Yeah. Also, this is a good indication. Yeah, bit into the management structure. So creative is purely Nigo. So it means like, yeah, Pharrell is not in any shape or form like, in charge of, designing anything. But potentially it could be collabs of Pharrell in the future. All right. And then the thing is, on the business side, we have one person that was with fast retailing. So that's really good. Okay, we have AF5776 who mentions he loves Nigo. Nice, nice. Yeah. I like Nigo as well. Yeah, like definitely one of the OGs in streetwear fashion in Japan. Yeah. And then the director was a leading work for Mitsubishi Corp and Sanrio. I think the Sanrio experience is more in line with what this company needs, which is leading. Yeah, he was a leading globalization of Hello Kitty and IP business. So this is good. Consultant, Deloitte, lead financial strategy and governance. Okay. Okay, let's look at Nigo's impact. So Continues to be a major shareholder. So one thing we have to focus on later is I want to look is how much of 4.68 does Nigo own? Because I want him to actually own more of the company, mainly because he is the entire driving force behind this company. If Nigo leaves this company's stock is going to tank, right? So if you talk about personnel risk, like you better believe that the better hope this person does not pass away again in a car crash, that type of thing. Yeah. So in charge of customer touch points, including product planning, design, store design, advertising, PR. That's kind of cool. Decision making on seasonal themes, discussion on product planning phase, sample checking, go no go decisions on finished products, store design, perspective, store concepts. That's good. If you look at the Tokyo stores for Beijing Ape, they're really impressive. I've actually not stepped into a human-made store yet. Yeah. Actually, I might have. I might have. Don't remember. Um, yeah, so yeah, I like that they have Pharrell as an advisor. He's not a designer. He's an advisor. They also have Cause as an advisor and shareholder. Pharrell actually has money invested because in the timeline I mentioned in around early, I believe. So this is slide 19. There is a company timeline. So investment for Pharrell was in 2018. Yeah. So if we go back to slide 19, it just means that Cause, as as an advisor to the brand, just just has stock options, right? So it has holding stock acquisition rights. So that's that one. Let's take a look at the business structure, right? We went through this earlier as well. So they plan to grow by having key opinion leaders. So eventually celebrities, athletes, people. Well, the easiest is literally this is Japanese streetwear, right? Which is really a tie to hip hop culture. So you just have key people in hip hop culture, which is gonna be easy because Pharrell's gonna wear the clothing now. More so, more likely now that he's a big shareholder, he has invested interest to wear a lot of human-made clothes. Cause, who has stock options, is incentivized to wear human-made clothes. Nigo's gonna wear human-made clothes. And if you think about like, oh, let's say Pharrell is really friends with T Pain, and T Pain releases a music video. That's possible. So the companies usually they either through friendships they will send clothes to celebrities to wear for free, right? That happens a lot. And then collaboration, brands and IPs. So this could be like, for example, Human Made. They had a collab recently. Let me see. So products. So they had Undercover collab. Maybe Undercover is also a really pretty well-known Japanese streetwear brand as well. E-commerce, inbound tourist sales. Yeah. What's unfortunate is right now because of the political situation, a lot of Chinese tourists aren't going to Japan. So I think that hits sales a little bit. In earlier slide, they mentioned how much Chinese sales was. Chinese 8%. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Not too bad. This is a standard playbook by fashion brands, though. Hmm. Okay, so hot secondary market sites like apps like StockX, our products are being sold at a premium. Example of transaction on a secondary market app. Actually, that's a. So if we go to StockX, right? um, let's look at some human-made products. Human-made. Let's see. So reversible jacket for 2780. Vans Authentic Supreme. Not Supreme though. Human Made X Pokemon. Oh, this one is. Looks pretty cool. So they did a collab with Pokemon, and yeah, this. I guess their T-shirts that are collab go for roughly 120. Sorry, 12,000 yen, which is around $120. So basically, you would have went up 150%. So you would have made 2.5 times your money. Um, yeah, so that's a good indication. So I guess one indication of that you can alternative data set that you can look at for this company is how is the value of their products in the resale market, right? If everything stays at retail, that's an indicator that they're oversupplying. They're oversupplying, right? When the value of their products, sell for more, that means they're doing a good job of limiting supply. Now, for these type of brands, okay, it's actually an interesting business economics lesson in that there's no such thing in streetwear brands in underserving supply, under delivering supply to create artificial demand. Because if you look at Supreme, right, they only release some certain collabs at their Supreme stores, and you have to be there at the drop. And a $50 t-shirt turns into a $300 t-shirt, right? A sneaker that's like $100 turns into like $400 on the resale market, right? But they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what the demand is, but they're purposely underserving it so that you get two customer groups, right? You have a customer group that really likes you have a customer group who are like actual fans of the product. They will actually wear the product itself, right? Like the Supreme is a skateboard brand. People used to buy that when they skate, right? It's a skate shop first, right? That's how it started, right? And then you have the group that is like very greed driven, right? So then it's like, oh shit, if I wait in line for this $50 t-shirt, I can flip it to 150 or $200 and just make easy money, right? So you have that group, right? And then you have the group that can't buy it because there's this group that really want it, and then there's a group that can't buy it, and then they're like, oh wow, that if I can't buy it and this is hard to obtain, then it must be exclusive, and it must I based off human nature and our ability to conform, we basically turn out to be people that are like, oh, if this is this exclusive and people are willing to pay $200 on the resale market for this product, then I must like it as well. So it creates this artificial hype. And then the thing is, once you create this artificial demand and demand reaches it, okay, then you tweak the supply, but you're still underserving it. You're just like consistently underserving demand to increase demand to the point. So the great thing about human made is it hasn't gone to a point where that has happened. It's not at the Supreme level yet, where it was. And if we look at the best case scenario, it is okay. How much was Supreme acquired for? Acquired for. Let's type that in. Supreme was acquired for $2.1 billion by VF Corporation in December 2020. Yeah, and then sold the brand for $1.5 billion to Estée Exotica in 2024. Yeah, resulted in $200 million loss for VF. Yeah, because VF Corporation, their stock just tanked a lot, right? But Supreme is a pretty well-known brand. Yeah, so that basically shows you what the upside potential is in the best case scenario, right? That's what the best case scenario for this brand can be, right? That's what we need to know. Saw someone type a comment, but how come I didn't see it? I don't see it for some reason. Someone definitely typed something. I can't see it for some reason. Huh, that's so weird. Okay, so continuing on. So hot secondary market sites as like StockX, our products are being sold at premium. Samples of a transaction on a secondary market app. Yeah, so basically they're saying they're using the secondary market to create additional hype, which is what Cause would know a lot about. Let's be real. Okay. So they want to increase future cash flow, which results in investing cash flow, more working capital, capex, M&A. I don't know what M&A would come from though. Probably focusing on building more stores. I probably is what they're gonna do, is build more stores. That's like the immediate thing, is build more stores. Yeah, increase sales and while maintaining margins. That's pretty simple. Optimize investment, maintain low level of working capital. So good, accounts receivable, inventory management. Maintain business model that does not depend on large investments. Seek investment opportunities. Discover opportunities, acquire brands online with our business model. Okay, so they could buy out some brands that complement them well. Okay, so this would be a very interesting upside. So the interesting upside here is like, there's a lot of niche streetwear brands in Japan that are small, right? They definitely do quite well by themselves, but the nice thing about them is that the exclusivity and allure about these businesses, these small streetwear brands, is because they're small, right? So if there's an avenue in which Human Made can acquire these companies and have them under that umbrella, then you have basically a conglomerate of, this is a huge upside case, which is a conglomerate of some of the dopest streetwear brands in Japan. Like that would be kind of interesting. And what does that lead to? Okay, in the very best case scenario, then you can open up stores that introduces the world to these interesting designers and niche brands, right? Which people do love, which people do like, right? It's just that they're very locally based in Japan, right? But people outside of Japan do like there's a lot of influencers that just literally just shop around in Japan and then show people their hauls and stuff like that and showcase these niche brands. So yeah, M&A is possible here. Okay, someone said their valuation may achieve Uniqlo upcoming weeks. Interesting. Interesting. What is Uniqlo's valuation right now? Fast retailing. I forgot their ticker. Fast retailing. So I said 30, roughly like 28, 29 times PE, right? So, 40 times PE. So if they went to 40 PE, what would that be? So, let me think. Let's say three. Yeah, it was 3.6 times 3.6 billion, right? If I recall correctly. Or 3.8 billion. Let me just go back and slide real quick. I'll calculate that right now. If it goes to 40 PE, 3.8. Let's just do that quick maths. Let me just, might as well just put that information in here. They had E390, and then T248, and then 11258, 3180, increasing 3804. Okay. Let me just quickly put this in. 4.6A. This is Human Made. Don't need that share price right now. It's 3805. It depends if you trade or not. I don't know. Shares outstanding. Do any of my documents I just downloaded have any of that information? Let me look up my other documents. 1 sec. Oh, this is good information. Okay, so they project 2598. 2598. A little over 30% tax rate right now. have shares outstanding? Oh, 2198. 83.6 billion. Okay, 32 times PE. So if we want to draw 40 times PE, right? So that would be 103.9. So let me just divide that by 1,000 real quick. Actually, we don't have to. 24% upside? 24% upside. I would just say like sure, that's cool, but then the thing is I have no comment because I haven't done enough work. I don't have enough conviction on that. But if you say that's a trade, cool, fair enough. It does potentially sound reasonable, given that the company is so small, right? Because they're so small. But the thing to be worried about that this is a niche brand, right? This is not a mass market brand, meaning yet at least, because Uniqlo is very, what's their strategy, right? They stick to staples, right? And then staples are very mass market, right? T-shirts, socks, boxers, um, like that's what there's blanks. There's no Uniqlo logo in a lot of all of their stuff. They have sweatpants, they have hoodies, like very generic stuff, but high quality generic stuff with a Japanese aesthetic to it, right? That's Uniqlo appeal, right? This is human made. This is streetwear. There is a logo, uh, so different, right? So the number of stores that Uniqlo can open is a lot higher, but then of course they're at a stage where they've penetrated so much stores, right? There's stores in basic almost every, I think every city in Canada already for Uniqlo, and they built up their e-commerce quite well. So it's hard to say exactly how many stores Human Made can tap. But if Supreme can have 120, right? Supreme has 120. Oh, Supreme. Sorry, Supreme is 17, but Bathing Ape, how many stores worldwide? 120. Is there actually that many? Where is this? Where is this referencing? Oh, they're opening up their first store. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I had no clue they did something like that. Because there used to be what's that other sub vape brand, like the Baby Milo brand or whatever? That was in Richmond and Vancouver before. Oh, okay. When does this open? With over 120 stores, including flagship stores in Tokyo, New York, Los Angeles. Okay. I had no clue they had that many stores. But open. Oh, maybe it hasn't opened yet. Yep. Hmm. Interesting. Cool. So if we purely look at market potential and being able to open 120 stores, then yes, sure. Addressable market. The 100, even, yeah, 40 times P seems reasonable. And it really depends on what you think the upside is, right? And how many stores. But in my opinion, current human made isn't that hype yet. It's still a pretty niche brand. It's a matter of you're betting on Nigo and Pharrell's execution in being able to create hype around the brand to the point where you have enough demand to create more stores overseas. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I will also say this part though, if in terms of store expansion, um, because Nigo needs to sign off on the store design, he is limited to his ability to sign off and design stores. So I think in the short term, if they have, let's see, they have 8 stores in Japan, and then like sounds like a couple more in Hong Kong, China, Taiwan. Um, it might be short term store openings. Might be anywhere between 3 to 5 a year. Might be in the short term, right? Asset light structure, low break even point ratio. Yeah. No. The thing about this business is that you rather you actually rather grow slow than grow fast, because once you grow fast and you go too fast and you just start being like Nike and Adidas and just over produce inventory, then the hype just dies. And once the hype dies, it gets to a point where it just then you have to close stores, and then it gets really dim, right? So you actually rather grow slowly than faster over time. Okay, so let's look at the plan to see if the plan aligns with my view of the business economics of this brand. So in the short term, we plan to solidify the foundation for a highly efficient business model based on Japan through measures such as launch of flagship stores and at the same time establish local overseas subsidiaries within the next 1 to 2 years to be a full-scale international expansion. Fair enough. Establish high efficient business model centered on HM brand. What does HM stand for? Invest in overseas business development, foster new brands. Foster new brands. Our approach: launch flagship stores in major cities in Japan. Prepare to open directly operating stores in e-commerce in China. Good. Acquire brands through small-scale M&As. Small-scale M&As, and then, but we don't know what the time is. Time is X at this point. Phase 2: turn overseas business profitable. Establish a highly profitable business model for the HM brand globally. Invest in new brands. Acquire brands through mid-size M&As. I mean, they could even be an incubator. And there's something to say, like, like how Nigo started off was literally he had sorry, I just want to double check my audio on. Yeah, how Nigo started off was literally having T-shirts, his own T-shirts put in a streetwear store, right? Some skate shop maybe even. That's how he started, right? So they could even be an incubator brand, right? Like, kind of like what Virgil Abloh did, you know. So. Sorry, not Virgil Abloh. I think it's LVMH had something to do, because I think they had an Off-White incubator program for Off-White or something along those lines. Number of customers. 497,000 people. 186,000 are coming from e-commerce. Wow. Wow, in 2024 is half half, and then suddenly in 2025 you had like almost, let's see, that's 140, like a 75% increase almost in customers going to their stores. That's crazy. That's crazy. Uh, Only in Japan do they have, okay, number of stores, sales space, mainly small stores, insufficient sales space relative to demand. Actually, this is kind of the key thing that makes it so good, is like, you don't need a lot of space. You actually need, like, it doesn't actually deter from it. Like, sure, you can fit less people into the store, but let's say you have a line running out the back. That only adds to the hype. So actually having a small store for these type of companies is not really a bad thing. It makes it even feel more niche and more like, oh, I know about this product, right? So I feel like I'm part of this cool club type thing. Um, okay, launch overseas stores and local e-commerce, launch flagship and concept stores, and significantly increase sales space. Boost awareness, continuously focusing on limited segmentation of customers. CVR, what is that? Product lineup, inventory, several hundred products, not enough to meet customer needs. So they want to increase the SKUs. I mean, to be fair, for streetwear brands, the core things that most people that are very easy to kind of get along to back up are t-shirts, right? It's not even like t-shirt, hoodie are the main things that you would buy immediately from like any streetwear brand. Uh, Pants, hard to say. I personally don't give a crap about like branded um, like underwear, boxers, or socks, right? I don't know. I know some people have like Supreme boxers and have that sticking out. That's not for me. um, Customers are unable to purchase due to out of stock situation in a minute. I think that's a interesting translation. I think this one means is when they have a drop, maybe online, there's a small window to acquire, right? But that also still adds to the hype of the brand, right? I don't mind them. As I said, like you gotta underserve demand, but you have to do it in a way where you still the demand grows on itself, because yeah. So creating artificial demand is not bad. Keep basic products available to improve customers' experience. So what they can do in that regard is have some level of mass market T-shirts, right? So you have their $7,800 T-shirts, right? So this is 12,000 yen, right? This is a collab, right? But if you look at their like normal T-shirts, yeah, you have their basic heart logo, 7,800 yen, right? Sold out, sold out. This adds to the hype, by the way. Oh, they have a cause collab for 13,000, right? Oh, it's great that cause is actually like, a shareholder. That's great. So he's incentivized to collab with Human Made a lot more, right? Just because of that aspect. 9,800. Okay, so yeah, this Pikachu one was 12,000 yen, and it's sold on StockX for 320 bucks. So you make like 200 bucks, right? This is the black version, but let's say it's comparable. Let's say it's comparable. Wow, their hoodie is 988, 1,000 bucks. Do they have the hoodie in here? We can search it up. It seems like it's a maybe a recent drop. See, the normal hoodie is 33,000. This is 32,000. So you would have three extra money. Okay. So 33,000 for a hoodie. Classic zip up. 28,000. Half zip. So they have a squirrel. This is kind of cute. The duck is a hit or miss for me. I don't think duck is very. Yeah, there's a better mascot than that in my opinion. But okay, increased number of product in existing categories in line with increase in sales channels. Keep basic products available to improve. So yeah, they'll have mass market products. They'll have collab products that are in limited supply. And the thing that's nice about collab products is it is in and of itself free marketing, right? So you create a collab piece, right? You sell it, it flips on the secondary market for double or triple, and then there's hype, right? You get hype from what? You get hype from people lining up, so people sharing the fact that they're lining up for something, and then they're sharing the fact that they made profit, and they share, and then people, yeah. So it's like free marketing in and of itself. It's like, oh, now like you look up on StockX, oh, this thing is in trading for 3x. So people, by people just having and wanting this product, right? Because you can't get your hands on it. Like it's 3 times the price, right? Who's gonna buy this? But you know of this thing, and you know it's worth. If you're like a sneaker reseller, you're a hype beast reseller type thing, right? That's gonna add to that. So yeah, increasing unit price outlines an improvement of quality. Quality is subjective. So yes, these are $7,800 yen, like $80 t-shirts, right? But it's still cotton, right? You can go from a $1 blank up to like maybe a $5 blank, right? But it doesn't improve that much after that. And I guess what can happen is after they hit a certain scale, the average cost, like they can order higher MOQs. Um, they can increase their order quantity to have better, COGS essentially. Insufficient interaction with customers through styling recommendation due to constraints as a store space. I don't know about this part. I don't know about this part because like anytime you've walked into these hype stores, you're kind of like part of the like you feel like you're part of this cool club. So no one really bothers the people on duty out for like recommendations too much, right? You kind of just like try stuff, look at stuff on your own type of deal. So sure, there might be some upside in recommending stuff, right? But usually people go in knowing what they want, kind of already. Because like, not many people blindly buy a $330 hoodie, as an impulse buy from one of these companies. It's kind of like they know of the brand already. But sure. Um, Uniqlo, Shimamura, Ryohin, Keikaku, Gu, Industrial World. So I don't see it, competing with a mass market brand. Like what I see it is like following the business model of Supreme, right? Like how well do they execute on the Supreme business model, not on these business models. That's just different. Um, elegant, elegant slash mode, comfort slash street. Hmm. Symbolic volume and premium. Company belongs to a market that targets customers placing importance on the symbolic value of products. So basically, telling people that I'm differentiated from you. That's all it is. Like I have an exclusive product, and that indicates something about me, or I'm trying to deliver some type of message, right? Like why do rappers wear chains? You know, why do people wear Supreme? It's because you want to showcase that you, well, one can afford to buy this exclusive product, but you also know of this brand. So there's this knowledge thing. It's kind of like when you, if you're a sneakerhead, you know, and you see someone with white cement fours, Jordan fours, and you know that shoe, they know what the shoe is, and you guys can bond about it, right? Our brand is especially supported by customers seeking connections with specific cultures such as vintage fashion. Sure. Other brands in the segment include Supreme, and Bathing Ape, Kith, Off-White, Carhartt, and yeah, for sure. This is definitely in line with that. Addressable market is 6 trillion yen. So they think their TAM is 60 billion. China, South Korea, the US, UK, France, Thailand, and Indonesia. I think they would penetrate the countries with the highest acquisition power, purchasing power, and that would be the US, China first. I think Thailand, Indonesia would probably come later on. Oh, we have three viewers. Welcome, welcome. Please don't be shy in engaging with me. I do not bite. Yeah, so they limit it to people around the age of 20 to 40, 39. Interesting. People who spend roughly $1,000 on clothes a year. Yeah. Okay. So it says a couple of major trends that they're taking advantage of. One is increased purchasing power of aging millennials and Generation Z. True. Increased demand for pop culture, music, art, fashion. Um, One other indicator for this is the continued. I think hip hop and the rap genre has increased in popularity, and has continued to do that. So as long as that continues to grow, I think this company is still going to do well. COVID-19, people wearing baggier clothes, more comfortable clothes. That's why you have baggier pants now, just baggier everything, because people just like that roominess. They don't want to feel constricted, right? So that has come back. So you get this more like early 2000s vibe, which is where like the bathing ape was really in demand. Yeah, so you see LV, for example. LV has a lot of like they've released a lot of their like their own dad shoes. Balenciaga have their own dad shoes, right? So there's like a huge bridge between luxury and streetwear, and that gap has closed significantly, in my opinion, right? People want to look homeless, but look homeless with a high price tag, essentially. Um, yeah, I think I saw this slide already. Let me quickly fill out what the company structure is. I want to let me see if I have that data. The financials. Wait, what the? Okay, I would like under financial. Okay. July 31st, 2025. Okay, so they have 5.9 billion. No longer that. Nice. Okay. Dividend. No dividends. Oh, there can't be any buybacks yet. That's too early. That's too early. Yeah, these are insane returns on invested capital. Absolutely insane. Yeah. It just means that demand is far out surpassed demand right now. Supply, I mean. Do they have a 2024 information? Do they have that stuff? Let's see here. The remaining 1,000 yen, I'm not really sure what this means. It will be used to open new stores in Japan, invest in e-commerce systems, and invest in overseas subsidiaries in order to achieve highly reproducible continuous growth. I believe that store channel is an important channel for allowing customers to experience a human-made world via retaining existing customers for new ones. I definitely believe for a streetwear brand, having a store is very important. That is definitely true. Company plans to allocate 352 million yen in the fiscal year ending to capex for interior construction and other work at the new head office, which the company plans to relocate to. 3 million for capex for their head office. Oh, that's okay. The company is planning to relocate its head office to resolve issues such as lack of floor space due to an increase in personnel as a result of business expansion, and to strengthen cooperation between departments on a larger floor. Okay. E-commerce. So plan to allocate 85 million yen to capex to strengthen the e-commerce system. That's like 850,000 CAD. Okay. Okay, so Nigo owns 2.72 million shares. What is that as a percentage? He owns 12%. Oh, okay. He's a 12% owner. Nigo 2.72. Pharrell 64. Setagata 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Huh, okay. I'm curious how much stock options a cause was given to be an advisor. It's kind of funny. You become you start off as a graffiti artist, and then you make like niche art, and then you become an advisor for some company like this, you're making probably like 6 figures. It's fucking hilarious that you can do that. Oh, wait, are they selling? Hold on. Oh, they're gonna underwrite the shares from the sellers listed below and sell them at a price different from the underwriting price. Oh, okay. Hmm. So Nigo might actually own more. Actually, that's not. Wait, so the before it was what was the price? What the fuck is the price? Oh, I can calculate that real quick. So let's see. $3,064. Now it's at. 930.133 2.2141. What is this? Is this sold to the underwriters? 3130. Underwriting price 2910. Underwriting. Selling price, underwriting price. Shares to be offered. This is over allotment. There's a difference. Oh, they offered 7.9 billion. Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. What is Nigo? Is that old? That must be owned by Nigo, right? That has to be, right? What is Nigo's company? Come on. That okay? Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure that's Nigo's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So Nigo owns. He he himself owns 7.15%, and his company owns 41. So that's he owns like 48. Yeah, 48%. Yeah. So he only sold off like a small portion of his shares, not that much. So Pharrell owns on 17%. Ray Matsunuma. Nice. There are three directors own 2.38% themselves. Asset management one. Interesting. Okay. Cool. So definitely very interested. Very unlikely for Nigo to just quit and run off because he owns enough of the company. And because Pharrell and Nigo are like pretty damn close, hard for this company to get acquired. Very difficult. You would need both of them to agree on the sale. Uh, yeah, and given how good their bond is, it's going to be hard to split them up. So the company's not going to get acquired, not easily acquired, I would say. Right, but there's no financial statements here, so I want to look for some 2024 numbers. Florida, USA, where? No, that's just Pharrell, dude. That's that's just where he's based out of. That's where Pharrell's based out of, right? So What is this? Do they have 2024? I want 2024, 2025 sales, please, if that's possible. Do they have that? Okay, this is about Nigo. Oh, this just means that before he had 64% of the voting rights. Now, well, in his own name, he owns 3.62%, but then his Nigo company owns still like 41% of the company, right? So I think this is due to some level of transfer of maybe his shares towards his, his corporation, let's call it, which makes a lot of sense. I'm not getting anything that is from their last few quarters. Yeah, we don't have that information, unfortunately. Well, we can make some assumption at what their net income could be. Let me see if there's anything here in terms of that 2248. Ah, perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you, Tate. Nah, I'm not the GOAT. So many better people on FinTwit than me. I just want to be regarded as someone who made my followers, viewers, readers money. That's it. That's if I can accomplish that, which I'm doing, if I continue to do that, I will be happy. Yeah. I want me to make money. I want you guys to make money. I want my portfolio to go up. I want your guys' portfolio to go up. And that's all I care about. Yeah. Win-win. And thanks for stopping by. Yeah, you can go now. You can go. You finished your job. Reverse psychology. That means I want you to keep staying and ask me questions. We increase supply based on demand growth to ensure that sales quantity remains at appropriate levels. We have maintained our policy of not making too much by matching supply quantity to sales quantity. That is bullshit. Their business model is always about under supplying demand. They need to do that. As long as they do that, they're okay. Matching demand would be fatal to this business model. Yeah. No excess inventory, managed with sell-through rate, inventory turnover rate. No overselling, maintain appropriate CVR. What does CVR mean? Customer something something? Let me double check what that means. What does CVR mean for retail fashion? Oh, conversion rate. Maintain appropriate conversion rate. CVR is number of conversions over number of visitors. Okay. I wonder how they actually keep track of the number of people. I mean, for online e-commerce, it's easy. Number of visitors and number of people to actually buy stuff. That's easy to track. What if they track that for actual live stores? We minimize costs incurred from discounts and inventory write-downs, which allow us to spend more on our cost of goods sold and increase product value. This builds customer trust in the value of our brand, which helps us reduce our sales-related costs. Offer products of solid quality. Okay, I believe in jackets can have more room to showcase quality. Cotton t-shirts, not as much. Accumulate trust in our brand. Sure, don't make shit products. Sell products based on products feature without advertising. Okay, less advertising, more word of mouth. Realize proper sell-through rate, 100% sell-through rate, 99%. I wonder if this means that the cost goes up, like for cotton, for example, they can pass it through. Lower inventory related costs, allocate reduced costs to product costs. Okay, but so by saving money, by not having to do as much discounting or inventory write-downs, we can spend that on higher quality products, which means we're spending more money on higher quality products to avoid discounting and doing inventory write-downs, right? So, yeah. Sell-through rate is the percentage of items released that are sold within 12 months after launch. The higher this rate is, the less inventory there is remaining. Okay. So they're matching demand quite well with their supply. Human made consistently achieves a sell-through rate near 100% and supply smaller than demand. Good, that's what I want to hear. prioritizing our brand equity, which is great. We have consistently maintained proper sell-through rate of 100%. Excuse me. Excuse me. Without any markdowns or discounts since it's establishment. That's good. So they have been really like excuse me, paying attention to demand quite well, supplying it properly. Which is rare because they have accessories, they have like trinkets as well, right? Um, like a human made coffee cup, human made like keychains, that kind of stuff. So for them to maintain 100% sell-through rate is pretty impressive, actually. Usually high inverse correlation between gross margin and inventory turnover. Excuse me. Luxury brands hold inventories for a long time and sell products maintaining high proper sell-through rates and gross margin. Despite only holding a small inventory for a short time, we achieve high sell-through rates and high gross margin. It's also because they're small. So key opinion leader, yes. Pharrell is definitely considered a key opinion leader because he is entrenched in fashion, he's entrenched in music, he's a music producer as well. So this guy is definitely one of those people. Oh, here's also like some hidden catalyst that I want to mention. That's kind of funny. Is like because Pharrell is like an independent, designer in this Hong Kong, right? Um, when LV has a fashion show, right? This is funny. Like, this is LV's marketing budget on their fashion show, right? Like, if he can wear a human-made T-shirt to that fashion show, that's free marketing, right? You get free marketing. So, yeah. So, which is fine, right? Like, this is good incentives, right? Like, Pharrell owns what percentage of the company? Like 17% of the company, right? Something like that. He owns 70% of the company, right? So like, but his marketing exposure is gonna be worth it, right? So we don't pay him anything, but he's gonna give us marketing exposure for free. Yeah, I hope they don't milk this brand out of equity, um, and marketing dollars, right? Because sometimes, for example, Kanye West said in an interview that um, he got Adidas to pay him the marketing, right? Because he is the marketing, right? Because he goes out with his wife, in pretty like eye catching attire, right? And then you get paparazzis like taking photos and spreading them across the web, right? So he is marketing, right? In a sense that sure, yeah, Pharrell is the marketing as well. Yeah, collaborations. Yeah, they do a lot of collaborations. So yeah, they actually don't have to rely on premium store locations because the brand has hype, right? People will actually travel by foot to those store locations just to have the opportunity to buy the product, right? Like people are willing, like It doesn't matter if it's in some back alley. It's totally okay. Where do I get the prospectus for the IPO? Right here. Let me see if I can copy and paste that. Let me just go to IR real quick. This is just the this is the Canadian one. I'm sorry, English one. Let me show you the Let me do the this one. So yeah, all the documents right here. Yeah. Welcome, Irish media. Haven't seen you in the chat before. Welcome, welcome. So they're also implying that once they get to a certain size and scale, the COGS will also decrease, right? Which has a couple of like really good incentives in that they could, in theory, lower the price a little bit potentially. Um, Actually, let me think about this. They do cotton T-shirts. I don't know how restricted even their current COGS is, right? It might not be actually that restricted based on scale. So there might be just marginal improvements. The thing about like the LVMH, right? Like they're let's say the LV bag, right? With their signature LV print, right? That's actually not real leather. That's actually some type of faux compound, right? So the margins on those could be amazing, right? So, um, yeah, and LV bag is like what in the thousands, right? So, whereas LV and those type of brands like to spend more on marketing just to maintain their global presence and their image. So, interesting. It could be a price point thing that the COGS are 39%. Yeah. Domestic casual brand Japan. Oh, this could be Uniqlo. Honestly, not really sure. Might be 5%, SG&A 50%. Yeah. Advertising, rent, personnel, other advertising less than 1%. We don't know if this is sustainable though, right? Like, sure they have hype, they have people who wear their products, right? They might even ship out their clothes to celebrities just to wear for free. Rent 34%. Yeah. The great thing about not needing premium locations is the savings on rent, right? But then that also means like, hey, if they need a better flagship store with a better location, then this could take a major hit, right? Um, different strategy. Different strategy. Personnel 11 12%. Yeah, that looks about right. Mm. They are also extending their current personnel because for example Uniqlo, right? They have their own e-commerce like return and exchange thing. People staff fulfill like in-store orders, also online orders. So there's a lot more labor demand. Whereas like a normal streetwear brand, um, like if you're selling a T-shirt, all that's really necessary is just like just to restock and do the cashier's drop, right? It's not as complex. But as they introduce more e-commerce, it could be a little more complicated. Don't know. Yeah. 17%. Yeah. I'm wondering if they can decrease costs, but no. I think this is targeting Uniqlo because they're doing like staples, low cost staples. So yeah. Human made X Pokemon 2.4. 2.5. Oh, 2.5 million sessions? That's actually really impressive. If they're generating this much, if they're getting this many visits, that's actually quite impressive. That's not easy. Okay, so what they're saying is that sometimes their e-commerce site doesn't have enough inventory, and they definitely would allocate. Yeah, they're very store oriented, so they would allocate a majority of their inventory to the store locations because they want to provide you like the full experience, right? The e-commerce site is not the full experience; it's primarily just the store channel. Yeah, so conversion rates increase due to shortage of inventory. Yeah. Oh, they actually keep track of number of visitors. So wow, so the number of visitors has gone up since 2022, ninefold. That is. Oh, and then store exclusives as a percentage of inventory, I guess. Huh. So they're able to create hype and drive traffic to the store. So this is great. Yeah, it's good. I see good shit. Good shit here. But a million views, like consistently average around 1,900,000 to million views is impressive. It is definitely impressive. Products that launch on Saturday mostly sell by Sunday. We utilize 52-week merchandising from establishments and shortage of products on weekdays, along with increase of visitors, have become notable. We have intentionally increased our supply of T-shirts and other basic products available on weekdays from May 2025 to meet customer needs. Customers line up in front of stores before opening on each Saturday. Lines become longer at release of collaboration or limited products. Well, yeah, if you release a Pokemon hoodie, for 300 bucks and it turns out to be worth 1,000, that's really good. Wow. Weekday sales in May 2025 grew by 95% year on year. Impressive, impressive. Okay, I take my word back. Potentially, this company is way more popular than I thought it was. Way more popular. Okay, I'm probably just behind on streetwear. I'm gonna take that back. Yeah, definitely still not as popular as Bathing Ape in my opinion, but not bad. You know what? We can actually put that to the next. What are the Google Analytics on that? So, uh, I'm just looking for Google Analytics right now. One sec. I haven't done this one. trying to do this. Create account. Oh, why is this so what? Before it was so easy to look at. Why can't I? What is going on? Okay, let me look up human made real quick. Okay, intro me. I'm using SimilarWeb and see if I can get some data. Might not be able to. Let's see. Okay, we got something now. Okay, so human made 1 million last month. Industry rank 1052. Uniqlo 101 million views. Damn. Okay. Oh, Korea gets 19% of views, 8% from China, 6% from the US, 4% from Taiwan. 53% direct, 30% organic. Okay. I wonder if they set up some loyalty program or not. FM Korea. Sneaker Dunk. Link destination, Instagram. Interesting. Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube. Okay, I want to compare that to, what's the Bathing Ape website? Vape International. What is it? How do I get to the... This is a UF's website. How do I... Sure, we can enter that. Bape.com. Is that a thing? Just bape.com by itself. jp.bape. Okay, so jp.bape.com. Yeah, that's good. So okay, so in terms of total visits, Human Made already has enough, like the same views. Mobile, desktop, okay. Visit duration even longer, okay. Pages per visit, that makes sense. Bounce rate only 33%, so people are staying longer for Human Made. Oh, nice. So consistently higher engagement. Whereas, let's see here. US one is, well, 82% US. That makes sense. JP is 30%. Okay. Counting direct. More people are directly going to Human Made, which is good. Oh, Babe has a more presence on X. Interesting. Cool. Oh, that's actually very positive. They have a lot of views. So that indicates to me that they definitely have higher demand than they're actually supplying, um, which is a good thing. Yeah. I don't think that's completely a bad thing. I mean, yeah, people get deterred, but like once it becomes more available, they'll definitely come back, right? Like no one sees a long line and be like, ah, oh, fuck this brand, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna want their product. And they see, oh, damn, a lot of people want this brand, you know, like, yeah. Oh, 310,000 customers orders. Oh, orders have stayed very consistent. Inventory is allocated more in stores and EC to meet uplift in demands in stores. As a result, number of session is restricted due to decrease. Oh, okay. So they're not selling as much or online because they want to prioritize store experience, which is fair. People did travel all the way to Japan to like see your store, right? Average spend per customer. So it used to be like roughly one T-shirt, and now it's potentially two T-shirts or one T-shirt or one hoodie or something like that. So people are either buying more items or they're buying more expensive items as well. People spend more online. Factors contributing to the sale of streetwear are strongly influenced by product quality, design, and brand legacy. Customers look to people such as musicians, industry insiders, and contemporary artists for fashion inspiration. Uh, like Kanye, our business accurately targets these factors. What is the most important element of brand for a customer? Product quality, design, 81%. Brand legacy, 63%. Creative director, 48%. Counterculture image, antisocial social club, presence on social media. Fair enough. Gymshark, resale price. That's for people who want to flip this product, which is fair. E-commerce experience, 10%. Retail store, 8. Who is a trustworthy person in industry where for consumers? Musicians, definitely. Industry insiders. There are some YouTube channels where people showcase Japanese streetwear, contemporary artists. What makes consumers like streetwear? How cool it is. Fair enough. Comfortable to wear. Also fair enough. Exclusivity. Yeah, yeah. That's why Supreme does so well. It's comfortable to wear. It's cool and it's exclusive because it's so damn expensive. Um, yeah. I think I saw this slide already. The lack of flagship stores to meet growing demand remains a domestic bottleneck. We clarify standards and definition with four-store formats to ensure that we expand business without damaging the value of our brand. As flagship store has not opened yet, the lack of sales size has acted as a bottleneck. Oh, they're opening a large one, 330 to 660 meters squared. Showcase human-made representative branding with full lineup of products, 2 to 3 stores in Tokyo, 1 to 2 to 3 stores in Osaka. Anticipated size, anticipated SKUs, merchandise standard product lineup, standard stores, small stores, concept stores. I think their concept store has their curry slash their coffee, with their collab with Blue Bottle Coffee. Shibuya, Tokyo, Omeda, Osaka can offer a full lineup of products and globally expand the store format. Potential demand for flagship stores still exists in Ginza, Tokyo, and Shinsaibashi, Osaka. Harajuku. Flagship store in 2026. Oh, interesting. Kyoto, Kobe, Fukuoka. Other stores directly operated. Standard store model, yeah. So I think they need to design something that can be easily replicable, because if Nigo has to literally oversee every single store design, that's going to use up a lot of his creative juices and power on store design. So yeah, if he has a replicable standard store format slash concept, that would be helpful. The thing to be wary about is that uh, when most people travel to, I don't know how visitors, tourists from China or South Korea, where they fly to, they could definitely fly to the Osaka airport. But most people from the U.S. and Canada arrive at Narita or Haneda. So I think the Tokyo stores are going to be where a bulk of their demand is going to be, right? So the thing is, if they open more stores in Tokyo, that could detract from the sales in the other cities, because unless you're traveling, like for example, when I first went to Japan, I went to Tokyo first, then Osaka, and then Kyoto, right, and then in reverse, so I can fly back to my home country. But um, yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, what they don't want to do is open too many stores outside of Tokyo and then increase their store count in Tokyo, which screws up the demand or supply and demand dynamic in the other cities. So yeah, like you would also think that the stores open in these areas in Kyoto, Kobe, Fukuoka, and Sapporo are also to target some portion of their domestic clientele, right? Because this is Japan, right? So I guess that commentary is based off of the tourist population. Yeah. Okay, so this is a funny commentary. So I remember in China, Supreme couldn't expand to China because someone took the rights of Supreme and registered the patent slash IP for the Chinese market so they could make fake Supreme in China legally. That got cracked down, right? But I hope they registered their human-made patent or whatever it is in all markets to prevent that from happening, or else that would be a nightmare scenario. Um, they have 1.29 million followers. China and North America show a large discrepancy between follower counts and actual customer base. I see. So 19% SNS followers lead to 8% of China customers, whereas 70% followers and 3%. Right? Because some people are just like, yeah, that's why they're targeting 20 to 39-year-olds, because they're targeting people who can actually afford to buy, right? Like you might have a teenager that's really into the brand, but they can't buy it, right? Whereas you also have a Chinese teenager whose parents are loaded who can also afford to buy it. So customers have no access or limited access to purchase in China. In China, retail store operated by a partner demonstrates sales performance. So they have a partner store that generates around 900,000 yen per month, which is around $9,000 CAD, around like 6,000 USD per month, which is quite good. Just one store too. So yeah, so over a year that generates around 80,000, right, for just one partner store. Right, risk of change in tariffs and other policies. Yeah. The great thing about streetwear is that they could procure cotton T-shirts in the U.S. Right, so they just find blanks and then just put their logo on it. Um, okay, so China and U.S. they want direct management, and in South Korea, Taiwan they want partnerships. In other Asian countries, Asian wholesale and partnerships, pop-up stores partnerships, direct management. Yeah, that makes sense. So the first three markets they want to do DTC is probably China and U.S. Oh, so they want to shift from partners operated stores to directly operated stores in phases. I see. So they first want to open stores in EU, Asian, Taiwan, U.S., China. I would think it's not that simple. Meaning, like, unless you create Japan exclusives slash China exclusives, right? Like, the mass market stuff. If you can buy it in China, right? Why would someone buy it in Japan, right? So results of quantitative surveys conducted by commissioned research indicate a market size of at least 5 times larger than Japan. And view China as a top priority market, plans to operate directly. So rap is really popular in China, which is why like it wouldn't surprise me that streetwear store like Human Made would do very well in China. Yeah, open first tier cities like Chengdu, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Shanghai, and Beijing. want to develop primarily through e-commerce in the beginning. Hmm. So they want to focus on China first, then do the U.S. market. Interesting. I think that, I have a different view of that actually. Because the people who wear your product also matters to the brand image, right? Like, rap originates from the U.S. So I think if like rappers or people in the U.S. wear it first. I guess they have models to wear anyways. Focus on brand promotion by utilizing New York's influence in the world. Boost global brand awareness and brand equity. Yeah, definitely opening a store in New York is a way to go. It's one of the streetwear capitals of, the United States. Um, I would say LA and New York are probably the top two spots first. Yeah, San Fran for sure because of capital act. High levels of disposable income in that region. Yeah, so they have a duck, a tiger, and a polar bear, and the human-made logo. Yeah, I'm telling you, if they made a panda, this would sell like hotcakes. Iconic design and vintage style distinguish our products from imitations of similar products by strictly protecting unique brand images as IP. Trademark registration of our characters and logos, hearts, animal motifs. I think they need more Asian-friendly animal motifs. Not that these aren't friendly, but it's like a duck is not what I think of in terms of Nigo. When I think of Nigo, I think about things like apes, maybe the tiger ones as well, like a panda, other Asian animals, right? Oh, they have 204 trademarks registered. It's interesting. Yeah, so essentially, there's a lot of room for this company to grow. It feels like they definitely have enough demand, and they're doing a good job of meeting it so far. All that is required is continuous store expansion. It currently looks like they set their sights in China. The reason why the retail factor still works for this company is because it is a actually unique designer with an actual unique product. So it works a lot better, right, than a mass market thing like Uniqlo in China because there's Temu with fake T-shirts and just yeah, I think competing with staples in China is very difficult. Competing with a unique brand, something with differentiation slash streetwear and a well extinguished designer is a different strategy. And I think that definitely probably works a lot better in China. Where so the impact to the retail, to this company's retail is different than say some, you know, um, fashion brand that's been start from scratch. Yeah. Okay, so I still have 20 slides left. I think we've looked at this company enough for today. Um, yeah, I think yeah, this is definitely a growth stock. This is really IPO territory. Like, I don't expect them to maintain. They might be able to maintain 20% margins. But it rests on basically the hype of the company. right? And the ability to garner hype so that they don't have to use as much marketing. Because once they have to use marketing dollars, then this becomes less effective, right? This becomes harder to uphold. I also do think that part of the reason why their sales are so good is because the demand is being underserved, right? But as we can see, they have been good at raising demand. So it's how do they consistently raise demand in excess of the supply that they want to push out to generate more sales and more profit dollars, right? Yeah. IPO price right now is 3805. Well, last time it was 305. 32 times PE. Can they double sales? I think so, right? If we look at Supreme as like the ultimate upside, right? A company that's worth, like that was sold for 1.5 billion recently, right? Well, sold for 2 billion to VF and then sold for 1.5, right? This company's market cap right now is only 83, right? So it's like $50 million USD brand, right? With potential, I don't think it hits Supreme, but like maybe half of Supreme, like $1 billion. There's potential there, right? But this is definitely market cap and execution based. And given IPOs tend to just trade up anyways, we can just like it doesn't take much bad news for the stock to tumble, right? So we can always get in at potentially maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it just goes straight to 40, right? And be like, oh, Uniqlo's worth 40 times PE, so let's get it to 40 times right now, right? But even at 40, at 103, 103 million, 104 billion. It's not. I wouldn't say even this price is overpriced, but there's a lot of speculation and going on. But the data currently does indicate that they have room for growth, and that this is not a stagnant number, right? Like this is going to continue. Like these numbers are going to continue growing. It's a matter of how many stores they can grow and what the e-commerce, rollout is going to be like, right? Yeah. Well, we might be surprised at how much sales they can actually generate in China, for example, right? So, yeah, it's market penetration. Currently, they're mainly in Japan, so if this goes up 3 times. You know what? Let's do that experiment. Right? Like, what if this company goes up 2.5 times, right? While maintaining, let's say, 25% margins, right? What does that look like? And then let's apply like a 30%. Let's apply that 1 minus that 6. Let's ignore that. Doesn't matter. Like at this point, it could be like way higher, like 500, 500. It'd be still fine. 500. So shit like that. What is that? Okay, we do that. 14 times. Once it generates, once it hits 3 markets. Huh. Okay, interesting. Interesting. That's an interesting thought experiment. Because oftentimes what happens is once the company grows into its size, right? This could be 20xx, like we don't know, right? Like this can be anything, right? I'm just saying 2.5. I'm just saying that it grows to 2.5 its current size once it penetrates the U.S. and China, because now you have less people having to go to these countries. Do that. 11 stores. What happens if they get to 50 stores? How many stores do you have? Right? Store count. Directly operate stores. Let's take a look at locations because that should be on here somewhere. Human made stores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess they are opening ones, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Well, these are partner stores. They're not their own directly owned stores, right? So I don't really know. Oh, they have quite a bit already. Oh, interesting. They have quite a bit already. Online and Mr. Porter. Oh, okay, so quite a bit of reach already. But that just means they're doing a good job with their like e-commerce and then their e-commerce reach, and then the partner stores are doing okay. No, this is good. I don't know how many of these are actual like stores. You know? Is if it has an address, that's theirs. Okay. I think that's how you this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they use the full human made name. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Correct. Oh, 12 stores. 12 directly on stores. Interesting. So I think they can definitely get to 15. This is, yeah, 12 stores, and then they have partnered stores that they wholesale to, and then interesting. That might be slightly more marked up at those partners. Not sure. 12 stores. 12 stores. If they can 10x that, yeah. It'll take a while though. ROE is really high. Good margins. I'm trying to think. I don't think you can maintain a 40 times PE continuously, right? Because the thing is there is a defined level of growth, right? Where the growth drops, the revenue growth drops. Um, oh, they can do M&A too. They can do M&A too. So do I think sales can go up 2.5 times? Yes. Yes, I do think so. Generate 6 billion at some time in the future. 14 times PE, 9 times EV/EBIT at these type of levels, while being able to acquire smaller brands, incubate smaller brands. It's super speculative, right? Like it's like anyone's guess. Does it seem reasonable? Yeah, as long as you continue growing, right? 7 times. There you go. Increase to 77.2 billion. And you apply some type of 15 multiple to this. Because if they do roll up, they do a roll up strategy in the future, right? 107. think a lot of growth is captured. It is being captured. It is being captured. 29% upside. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. It IPO'd for how much? 3130, right? Something like that. 3130. 68. Price value is some additional cash. 45% upside. Yeah, I think. Growth investing is tough. Growth investing is tough. 26.5 times P. The IPO price. Now it's 3,800, let's call it. What is today's price? What is today's price? Today's 37.50. So it dropped down a little bit. I think for near term, where there's so many moving variables, like obviously it's like in the right direction, right? If people trade it to 40 times, I'm definitely not buying it. Yeah. What would be a steal though? What price means this is a steal? Because like I said, right, like if it increases revenue 3 times, right, maintain the 25% even margin, right? Like if it's able to do that, right, and then abnormal tax rate generates 7 billion. At this point, it's penetrated China and the U.S. A little bit more of the U.S. I mean, it's probably not the full potential of it, right? But at this point, there's still growth, right? Growth, but then it might be trading between 15 times, 17 times, probably. 108, 17 times. So anywhere between 100 to 120, right? 100, 120, and then it becomes, okay, like, how long does that take to happen, right? Like, you know, currently it's at 80 billion market cap, right? If we 50% increase in a really good scenario where it's still trading at growth multiples, and we feel like there's still more room for more room for the demand to increase and for them to, you know, do that type of thing. It's interesting, right? But then okay, but it'll balance the downside scenario, which is like, oh, this is a fad, right? This is just a one-time thing where, you know, Nigo got back to, you know, or is he a staple OG? Is he a staple OG? Because the baby Milo, the bathing ape design is quite faddish in a sense. In a sense, so I don't know. I feel like this is pretty fair. I mean, currently I don't. Yeah, I think I can see it going up and down, but the figures, the fundamentals of the company, truly, this is currently at its current state. It's a quality business. It's a good business. Is it worth 30 times? Hard to say. Hard to say. I would say. Hard to say. I can tell you if it drops to 40 billion. Oh, now I'm a happy camper. Like if it drops to 2,000, right? And I can get that, you know, I can get that upside of like 17 times here, right? Give me 3x upside potential. Okay, I'm all for it. I'm all for it at that point. See, that would be good, right? But if it reaches like China, it fulfills the China flagship stores, and then you know, at a 15 times PE multiple. Yeah, it ultimately depends on brand image, right? If they continue to grow brand image and do that well, company does well. They screw that up, then it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? All this doesn't matter. So, um, currently business economics are good. They have great business economics. It's about how do they keep growing that, and then how can they leverage that to buy more brands, and they have talked about buying brands. So if it becomes a fashion Japanese streetwear acquisition roll-up company, then that's also very interesting. But I'm stingy, so I think I would like to get in. I mean, 3,000 is kind of high, honestly. 3,000, not getting much upside. Like how speculative this thing is. I think 2,500, maybe a double. Over how many years? 3 years? 50. 2,300 is 50 billion. 2,300, yeah. I would like to wait and buy it. I'm more the type of like, okay, what's the potential in the future, and then like let's try to really underpay. So I if there's hype, I just let people do the hype, and then I let a couple quarters of things happen, and if people get too pessimistic about the worldview about this company, then yeah, it's also very easy to get very pessimistic with these type of things, these type of scenarios, right? So if that happens, this company can trade for a lot cheaper while maintaining those margins. If it can trade cheaper while maintaining those margins and then rebuild, I'm more willing to do that, right? I'm more behind that, right? 'Cause if it hits this, right, and you say, oh, it trades at 10 times, no, there's not real much upside, right? The upside isn't. It's kind of like this is, yeah. The IPO price was pretty, I think it was fair. It's fair, you know. And then it's like, oh, does it actually grow to a Uniqlo PE? Well, that's just. I think that's a little different because we've already proven that Uniqlo business model works. And then as long as there's Asian population, then you can grow in those areas, right? This one is a little more dynamic in that this is an exclusive brand, whereas exclusivity is because it's sheltered in the land of the, in the land of the rising sun. I think that's Japan, right? It's in Japan. So once you are able to access it in other areas like New York, whatever, right? Like, yeah, because even Supreme, if you look at Supreme, like, how many stores does Supreme have? Stores from Supreme, like, they have how many stores does Supreme have? 18, right? And they have 12. Shibuya, Shanghai, Seoul, like. Of course, Supreme does collapse, right? But like, yeah, is it worth 1.5 billion? Hard to say. It does have a license to print money, right? You put Supreme on a brick, you can sell the brick. It's kind of funny. But okay, that ends my commentary for today. I think at current prices, I don't think it's worth speculating. I think it definitely is. It has good growth. Like it's a quality business right now. It's a quality business with a growth engine, and it's about how can it realize its growth, right? Is it worth 30p? Is it worth Is it worth 31, 32 times PE? I mean, you're factoring a lot of growth in it already, dude. Like it's like you're factoring a lot of growth into it, right? Like this is to get even there. I need to get to roughly 12 times after it's tripled revenue. After it's tripled revenue, I need it to still trade 12 times, something like that. So yeah, I wouldn't get it, but this is interesting. It's good to know about these business economics, and it's good to see that the brand is doing well, Nigo is doing well. Yeah, I see good things from the company, but would I pay this price? No, I'm stingy. I would like to pay 2,000. That's what I would like to pay. 2,000. I think a good. I think a 17. Yeah, you give me a 17 P. That's good. That's good growth investment for me personally. Thinking. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys.